Hey, it's been a while, I think, but no one watches these anyway because, well, yeah, I'm not that popular or funny, and I don't have big tits, so, yeah, you probably aren't even listening at this point. But if you are, I'm going to be talking about this game I found in my little laser tags arcade, and pretty much it's going to be a vlog about raw thrills and all their little games. But yeah, the game is Terminator Salvation, and it's a light gun shooter as you'd expect, and it's pretty captivating by the look. The cabinet's pretty big. It's got the Terminator on the top, like not the Terminator, but you know, the robot thing. And it's like an assault rifle. It has your little grenade launcher button. It's got an okay grip. And the one good thing I actually like and was hoping to see is there's on the little clip on the bottom there's a button and you use that to reload, which is kind of cool. But as you'd expect from a raw thrills game, it's entertaining and it's kind of fun, but there's things that they don't do that keeps it from like being really good. So where do I start? Only 2 missions as far as I can tell. Yeah, 4 chapters, and they're all pretty long. I was actually playing one today, and it felt like it lasted like 10 minutes. Like, it was just dragging, and I'm just like, every time I kill things, and I turn the corner, I'm like, okay, is this it? No. Okay, kill more things. Alright, is this the end? No, it's not. It's like, oh, come on. What more do I have to achieve? One thing it does is, here's how it works, is the enemies on the screen will be highlighted in red, and they're the ones who are gonna, like, are the most dangerous to you at the moment. They're the ones that are going to shoot you or whatever, and you should focus on them. That's good. It's like Virtua Cop, except not as good, because Virtua Cop, like, you could tell when one was going to shoot, because the sight around them would, like, eventually, like, converge on the top, and when that happened, you know that they would damage you. Whereas in this one, they just glow red, and you have to kind of visually tell, and sometimes that's extremely hard to do, because not always fighting Terminators or robots or whatever you call them. I don't really follow that series that much. So like there'll be some things where it's like you can't exactly tell, and some are like there'll be serpent things in like the sewer levels where you'll see them turn red and then they'll hit you. Like there's almost like no time to like react, especially since they throw like 5 of them at a time at you. So they'll just be lined up and you'll have to like either do it with someone who's competent or you have a lot of money and be damn lucky. That's another thing. They use a life bar, which is okay. Like it works for this game. There's a lot of action. You can like absorb a lot of damage, but sometimes it's just really cheap. Like you'll just lose life really quickly at some points, and like sometimes like you'll get hit and it won't really do much damage, and then other times you'll get hit and it'll take like that much damage off instead of like a little sliver of damage, and I hate that. I hate that. Because then it's just like, yeah, now like, there's also civilians and like other humans that you're not supposed to shoot, but they're everywhere in this game. Like they are all over the damn place. They don't know how to stay out of the way. Sometimes there's like guys like just right in front of you. Sometimes like there's one level that's in the dark and you can't even see them. Like you can barely make them out in the darkness, and like you can still shoot at them. It's just like, why would you put that there? Like some idiot down in that development team was probably just like, it's challenging. It challenges you to like assess things. It's like, no, it doesn't. Bullshit. Shut up. You just make it cheap, and you make quarter cash or quarter muncher, quarter cow. So yeah, it's pretty cheap. Like I thought they would have learned a lesson after Target Terror. That game is kind of fun, but it's nowhere near like as good as like Area 51 or whatever, just because of its length and like how cheap it can get. I'm gonna go off tangent, just ruin the final boss of that game for you, because that one is really unfair. It is a single guy in the cockpit of the plane, and he's holding a pilot at gunpoint, and you'd think, well, I shoot him in the head. No, he has his detonator in his hand, and if you don't, you're supposed to shoot the detonator out of his hand. But if you don't do that, no matter what you do, he will still blow up the plane, which isn't even their original goal. In the little like demo, it shows them flying the plane into the White House, but it doesn't happen. They blow up the plane. Yeah, because it's like, how am I supposed to know that? Like, really? Anyway, back to this game. I played through the first mission and a big chunk of the second mission, but I think I spent like, it must have been like $10 on it, and I still couldn't beat it, so that's just like, what? It just gets ridiculous at some points. It just throws everything at you, and you're taking damage left and right, and it's just like, you can't, like there are specifically parts where they'll throw multiple enemies that are aiming at you and hitting you, and there's like no way to fight them all off. Like, there's some that like will actually walk up and punch you. At times they'll put 3 of them in a row right in front of you, and they'll all be hitting you, and there's like no way to prevent that. It also begs the question, if there's 3 guys gonna punch you, why are you bothering to stand in front of them with a gun? It's like, back away or do something else. Don't just stand there and take it. Another good thing I liked about it, I'm gonna not just bash the game, it's not bad, it's just not that great either, is the, I guess you call them bosses. They don't have like life bars or anything, but you fight these big machines every so often, and like the game will like slow down, and there'll be little like targets that'll like appear on them, kind of like the Sega's The Lost World arcade game, like the one with the sit-down cab, and you had to shoot the raptors and stuff, but like little circles that appear, you have to shoot them before the boss hits you. You shoot all of them, then like it explodes and like delay its attack, and it works. I like that. It's kind of cool, and some of them is really makes the battles kind of epic. I like it. Yeah, that's fun. I like that. Anything else I like? Yeah, the main thing I don't like about Raw Thrills games is like they make them and they put like time into them. They do have some good ideas, but ultimately I feel like all their games are just kind of like there just to make money, and then they'll move on to the next game. Like, I don't think they design their games with like lasting appeal. Like, I haven't played Target Terror in a while, but I don't really miss it. I don't think I'll miss this game when their next one comes out, whatever it'll be. First game's like, I'd love to play like Virtual Cop 2, the original Time Crisis, and Time Crisis 2, like, even like the original Area 51, like, that's still a kind of fun game. It's like, they seem to just make games to make money, and they're probably inexpensive, which is why a lot of arcades seem to have them. They're probably like pretty cheap to buy, and from like the owner's perspective, it's like, I could shell out money for this game, which might be better gameplay-wise, or I can spend less money and get this game, which I know is guaranteed to make me money. That makes sense, so you can't really fault them for that one. Still, it seems like one of those companies where it's like, they're not really out there to make a good game, and to me, I like good games. Like, I feel that's better than just making like a somewhat fun game, and I'll like pass the time for a while. You're probably wondering, like, if you are still watching this, I'm surprised. If you are wondering why I spent like $10 on playing that game, like, well, I think I'll try and play it through just so I can beat it and see how it ends. But ultimately, like, once I beat it, I'll probably, like, very rarely, if I ever go back to playing it, it'll be one of those games. Like, I did it with Target Terror, actually. I spent a lot of money, I played that, I beat it, and I've not played it since because it's not that fun. Yeah, that's about it. I feel their games could be better. They need to just update things. They're good on their visuals. H2 Overdrive and Terminator look really nice, but I don't think as nice as like the House of Dead 4 or anything like that. Like, they look nice, they're getting up there in the visual department, they just need to focus on making their gameplay, like, stand out a little bit more. They need to go that extra mile. So, yeah. If you see it, give it a try. You'll probably enjoy it, but don't expect to, like, really enjoy it. Like, if you had to choose between this and, like, any of the other shooters I just mentioned, like Virtual Cop, whatever, you'd be better off with those. Like, they know how to make a game, but not as good as, say, like Sega or Namco or any of the other companies that have been doing arcade games for, like, forever now. So that's basically my opinion on Raw Thrills.